Dibakar, here, straight here. Dibakar, ideally, detective-based films have not exactly done big business in Bollywood. So what makes you confident about this movie?
Nothing. I've never been confident about anything that I do. Do you think any director really knows what his film is going to do when he does it? I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. But then you'll stop making films. I can't do that. I know all my films. I mean, the fact that I'm surviving in Bollywood is a miracle by itself. I mean, we shouldn't be asking question as to, what is your next film? The question is, how come you're still making films? I mean, after Love, Sex or Dhoka, after Shanghai, after following up Oye Lucky, after Khosla Ka Khosla, not making Khosla Ka Khosla 2, and I'm still surviving, and I'm now working in partnership with India's biggest studio. So I have no answer to these questions. मेरे को खुद नहीं पता. So I don't think any director says before he makes his film कि यार बड़ी गंदी पिक्चर बनाई यार बहुत फ्लॉप होगी. So हम ये भी नहीं कह सकते कि ये फैंटास्टिक फिल्म है genuinely. या हम ये भी नहीं कह सकते कि ये बहुत बुरी फिल्म है. हम यही कह सकते हैं कि this is the film that I've been dying to make since after Khosla Ka Khosla. And slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly over 4 films, I gathered the power, the knowledge, the resources to make this film. And what we have done is that we have done our best and then gone 5 steps forward. Because my dream was to see Byomkesh Bakshy on screen, because Byomkesh Bakshy is an immortal Indian character. हम जब बैटमैन देखते हैं, हम जब शर्लॉक होम्स देखते हैं, और उन फिल्मों को देख के जब हम करोड़ों की बोलियां बोलते हैं, तो मेरे को थोड़ी दिल में चोट लगती है. क्योंकि we have everything in Indian literature that could be our own icons. Detectives, superheroes, anti-heroes, character, villains. Our writers have given literature and characters on par with the world. And the dream is to start bringing them onto screen one by one. क्योंकि हर फिल्म का सोर्स अगर डीवीडी हो जाए तो फिर किताब कहाँ जाएगी, कहानियां कहाँ जाएंगी. That is why I made this film. And एक और चीज, हर फिल्म ने अगर 45 साल का एक आदमी 22 साल के एक लड़के की एक्टिंग करके 23 साल की एक लड़की के साथ रोमांस करेगा, तो फिर दूसरी कहानियों को जगह कब मिलेगी? और उन कहानियों की जरूरत है. Sorry? I am not insinuating at anyone. I am telling you the actual state of what we make as commercially successful films, which really work, which are good. But that doesn't mean that there is no variety of diet that we shouldn't try and give the audience. Because I was speaking to Adi, and this is about 1.5 years back. Adi said that why can't we make your kind of films the future mainstream of India? That was his vision. I mean, it's his personal vision, and I just got hugely fired by that. And that's why we are making Byomkesh Bakshy, and we know that detective films haven't made too much money. We know that detective films have not been around in the, general universe. But we have to try it out. Otherwise you'll never be able to find a new way. And the audience will never find a new film to make. After that comes the fact that you make it as cool, as entertaining, as exciting as possible, and that's what we are trying.
Sushant, romance की बात की दिबाकर ने, क्या gift दिया अंकिता ने आज आपको?
I don't think we're talking Byomkesh Bakshy.
Okay,
so
all right.
What gift did Dibakar give you?
What did he give me? Thank you so much. Yes.
So.
See, the toughest part was what that gentleman said, to try and figure out why an Indian film-going audience on a Friday, who's either going for a romance or going for a comedy, will come to see a detective film. And that too by me. वो दिमाग का दही बनाने वाला दिबाकर बैनर्जी, on a Friday. So The challenge was the story, Sharadindu Banerjee's characters, his mood, his tone are kick-ass. They are world-class. Believe me, they are world-class. So any director can take them and make an absolutely corking film out of them. My idea was, my biggest challenge was, what am I bringing to the film that's uniquely, interested, that uniquely interests me. So figuring that out took about 4 years. And then writing the script in about 1.5 years with Urmi, my co-writer. That was the toughest part. The breaking in of the angle of attack of the story. I don't think there was anything simple about realizing Byomkesh Bakshy. Okay. I have lost weight. My cardio has gone down. My cholesterol has come up. I haven't slept nights because this kind of a film to represent Calcutta of that time, the VFX, the sound design, everything has to be done from scratch. There is no traffic ambience that I can use from any contemporary sound source for Calcutta of 1943. I have to layer each and every sound from zero upwards. If somebody is lighting a cigarette in the film, a very simple act like that becomes a huge challenge because you have to find a cigarette of 1943 and you have to find a lighter of 1943. So it's been a huge challenge, but it's been the most fun of my life. Most fun film experience.
Sushant, straight here. Sushant.
Just a minute. There is, it's very, it has to be appreciated greatly, your approach that you are picking up stories from Indian milieu and from Indian literature. And we must be grateful to you for that because you are looking at it from that perspective, not looking at DVD libraries, for your inspiration. But I personally feel that as far as visual referencing is concerned, and you just talked about art direction plays a very critical role in this film. So as far as visual referencing is concerned, we still go by, either Hollywood standards or we go by what the Chinese filmmakers have been doing. We generally seek inspiration from there. So what can be, the visual idiom of Indian filmmakers? Have you ever thought about that? And whether you have tried to incorporate that in this particular film?
I can't tell you about the other Indian filmmakers. They will speak for themselves. What we tried to do in this film was that my cinematographer and my production designer, my actors, my costume designers and everybody, we set up one challenge for us. And I'll illustrate it with a small example. When we think of 1943, we imagine everybody is saying, "Aao Nath, aao, kaise ho?" Why do we think that they talk like this? Because the films of 1943 had people talking like this. Why? Because they didn't have lapel mics. Because they had mics up there, so they had to project and they had to be theatrical. But people in 1943 didn't need mics. They were speaking to each other like this. And they would have the same expression or slang or familiarity or roughness to their dialogue that I would have today. What our target was to go to 1943 and treat it as 2015. So my cinematographer, my actors, my production designer, my costume designers, our brief was research 1943, put it up faithfully, then portray it with your eyes of 2015. So when you see it, you, the person of 2015, will feel that this is 1943. That was the same thing for visuals. If I was living in 1943, would I do a huge camera sweep to show you, look, this is Calcutta of 1943. Today when I shoot a thriller, I will shoot a gritty, dark, interesting frame. I will not try and show you the architecture. Same way, when you go to 1943, you shoot it just like a modern thriller, but you see 1943. So that's the idiom that we brought.
Sushant.
We'd like to take the last two questions.
Sushant here. Sushant.
Yes.
Excuse me, Diwakar. My question was a little different. I was not talking about whether you were doing it in 1943 in what way. I was talking about that there is a Korean filmmaker, there is a Japanese filmmaker, there are these Hollywood filmmakers. They have their own visual references and their way of, visualization.